Mario Draghi deserves to be heard and thanked for the quality and candor of his analytical scenario building, as the one developed by my think tank, focused on the potentials of economic and financial geopolitics, shows a growing probability that, within a 15-year horizon, the EU could become the cornerstone of a Nova Pax, either integrative or substitutive of the American Pax, 1945 to 2025. Thus, a new co-pillar of global economic confidence emerges. The reason is that America, though still a superpower, has become relatively small as an ordering force and monopolist of violence when measured against the scale of global commitments and dynamics. I already wrote this in my book The Grand Alliance and discussed it with both Democratic and Republican elites in the United States. I received a realistic acknowledgement that America would need to expand the number of allies contributing to security and to the stimulative leadership of the broader community of democratic and compatible nations. The Republicans I spoke with took note of the concept and incorporated it into John McCain's campaign against Barack Obama, 2008, refining the project of a League of Democracies, a key point for McCain himself. But he lost, and Obama attempted a balanced economic accord among democracies. However, protectionist and exceptionalist Americanism prevailed on both the left and the right, not to mention the reluctance at the time of France and Germany. Today, this weakens the U.S. pillar of global economic confidence. Therefore, it is time for succession or integration. Personally, I favor the latter within a G7+ framework. The EU is the leading candidate for this historic handover, but it must act by combining renewed activism with prudence. This activism is clearly visible, perhaps underestimated by Draghi, in the European drive to secure free trade agreements with Mercosur, Indonesia, India, despite the difficulties arising from U.S. India divergences, Mexico, and this reflects a trend of selective reglobalization led by the EU, with a high probability of rescuing its own economy. Incidentally, it aligns with Italy's strategic priority to forge partnerships across half the globe, a goal made more attainable by the excellent geo-economic reform of the Ministry of Foreign Affairs. On the military and technological front, Europe's potential is considerable, but slow to materialize due to financial and consensus gaps. However, tariff slaps from Washington, unfair competition from China, and threats from Russia are triggering a response faster than it appears. The gap can be closed within 10 years, with significant effects already visible in 5 to 6. Where does prudence lie, beyond not breaking with America? It would be unwise to force a federalization of the EU, which remains premature and thus carries a risk of disintegration. Therefore, a strategy of selective, targeted programs for technological and economic stimulus is needed, keeping debt under control and encouraging collaboration between public and private capital. Draghi is right to highlight the issue, but the solutions must be adjusted with both prudence and greater global ambition.